What is up, guys? I am the Senator, and today I want to talk about something that I think all of us at one time or another have experienced when playing Siege. If you're someone who's played Siege for a long time, this most likely doesn't apply to you right now, but at one point it probably did to some extent. But if you're someone who's relatively newer to the game or at a lower rank, it seems as though Caveira is the scariest operator in the game. And whenever I was newer, I definitely thought this was the case. I thought she was, overpowered and scary, and she was actually the first DLC operator that I bought. So, in this video, I'm going to explain to you why she's really not that scary, and why she is definitely not ban worthy. Okay, so what factors go into the fear that a lot of players have when seeing that there is a Caveira on the board? I think the most obvious reason as to why players are scared of her is because she has the ability to pretty much end the entire round. If there's a minute and a half left in the round and you know the position of every attacker, it's going to be a pretty easy win for the defense. And the other major factor as to why a lot of players are scared of Caveira is because she is silent. So she has the ability to know everyone's position and you can't hear her coming. So while on paper that sounds like she would be an extremely overpowered operator, in reality, she's probably the easiest operator to counter in this entire game, and that's why you'll see her played and banned more at lower ranks, and why in higher ranks you'll never see her being played. So why is it that you should stop being scared of Caveira? Well, because her entire ability can be countered with a drone. The attacking team has 10 drones at the start of the round, so with that many observation tools, there should be no problem droning out and seeing that, hey, there's a cav here, let's move in, and leaving behind a flank drone. And it's because of that so many people who are newer or at lower ranks are scared of her. I remember listening to an episode of Get Flank's Logic Bomb podcast, and they had a dev on, and he said something along the lines of people who are like in bronze spend an average of less than 10 seconds on their drone for the entire round. So, tip number 1. If you're someone who doesn't like Caveira and you hate seeing her on the board and you want to see her banned, it's probably because you're someone who's not used to droning. The drone is the most powerful tool that you have. It's better than any other utility that is available to you. And I'm actually thinking of making a video on droning, so let me know down below if you'd like to see that. And it's because of this lack of droning that you'll see Caveira played more at lower ranks and you'll see Vigil played more at higher ranks. If you're playing a group of players who don't drone, it makes sense to play Cav. They're just going to run to the building where you can just hide in a corner and wait for them because you're not going to get droned out, and then you can easily interrogate them. And then we look at the higher ranks where you'll see players spending more time droning. So against that group of players, it would make sense to play a Vigil who cannot be droned out rather than playing a Caveira that can be completely shut down by just droning out. Okay, pausing the video for a second to remind you to like the video because that actually helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit subscribe for more R6 content. So if you're someone who is terrified of Caveira and you want her banned, it means that you're someone who typically does not spend enough time on your drone. And trust me, if you spend more time droning, you'll do a whole lot better and you'll be more confident when attacking. Another tip that will help you out if you're someone who gets nervous if you see Cav on the board is to just spawn with a buddy. I promise you, if you drone out and don't go into the building alone, the likelihood of you getting interrogated is very low. And if you do so, there are probably some other aspects of your game you need to be working on. But I used to find myself dying often, not only to Cav, but just roamers in general, because I would spawn by myself and then go in by myself. And if the attackers are all off doing their own thing and not with a buddy, it is so much easier for the defenders to just pick them off one by one. So if you spawn with a buddy, not only does that lower the chances of you getting interrogated by Cav or just dying to roamers in general, but it increases the odds of you taking out the roamer or at least trading. And that's why you always want to spawn with a buddy in case you die or he dies. The other player is able to get the roamer and trade out, because if you go in by yourself or the roamer gets you, then it's a 5v4, but if you go with a buddy, he can easily make it a 4v4. And that's another thing that takes a while for players to understand, is the importance of being able to trade out. And if you're someone who wants to ban Caveira, if I'm being honest, that is a very wasteful ban. I, for one, actually, this may sound crazy, I feel more confident going into a round knowing if they have a Caveira because, one, I spend half of the round droning out regardless if there's a Caveira or not, and I don't go off and do my own thing. So if the enemy team is playing Caveira, it means that they potentially traded out an operator that would be extremely useful for a Caveira. So instead of bringing a Maestro, a Mute, a Smoke, a Valkyrie, they brought a Cav instead. And I would rather deal with a Cav than most other operators. So stop being afraid of Cav and definitely stop banning her. She's too easy to counter to be banned. So look at banning ops like Valkyrie, Mira, Echo, Maestro, Melusi, those type of operators. So if you're someone who is extremely uncomfortable knowing that the other team has a Cav, don't be scared. As long as you don't go off on your own, and as long as you drone out and leave behind flank drones, you should never get interrogated. Does it happen? Of course it happens. I've been interrogated many times, but I have definitely died more times from hitting a goo mine and the enemies knowing my position off of that. I've died way more times by being on a Valk cam and not knowing it. I've had the plant denied by Echo or Maestro more times that I have been interrogated and lost the round because of Caveira. So don't ban Cav, and don't be scared of Cav because you're not used to using your drone. I'm telling you, 3 minutes is plenty of time to go in and plant the diffuser. You have time to drone out. And I get it if you're someone who gets nervous whenever you see Cav on the board. For the longest time, seeing that would make me a nervous wreck because I was someone who would never drone out. And that's something that takes a lot of players some time to realize. If you're coming from like Call of Duty where you just run and gun, run in and kill people, and you're not really used to taking your time and moving with the team or communicating, it takes a while to get used to that. And that's something that I see a lot of people also struggle with, and I may make a video on that as well, is that a lot of people have horrible time management in this game. You have people who see that there's a minute left in the round and they don't think that's enough time to drone out, so they just run in and then they get domed. Or you have people who are in a 1v2 and they decide to make their move when there's 5 seconds left in the round. So hopefully in this video I was able to convince you to get rid of some bad habits and inherit some good habits, like always droning out, spending more time on your drone, going in with a buddy and not going off and doing your own thing, and like banning operators that are picked more often and have a greater impact on the match as a whole than a Caveira. And so that's about it for today. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. Also, I've been more active on Twitter. You can follow me at ZSenator. And if you want to support the channel, again, like this video, that helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And check out my affiliate sponsor, Rogue Energy. Rogue Energy creates a great tasting energy drink designed for gamers to increase reaction time and performance. I drink it every day and feel amazing. So it makes me feel energized and it tastes great. You can go to rogueenergy.com, link down below in the description. And when you use code Senator at checkout, you save 10% on your purchase. So you get a discount on a great tasting energy drink and it supports my channel. Again, thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. I am the Senator, and as always, have a good one.